Hi, everybody. Rachel Teedy here with a look at your evening update on June 23rd. We are covering several stories today. We had team coverage over at least one of these stories today, and then in a little bit, I'll bring in Reid, who will give us an update on the forecast, what you need to know to plan your day for this evening, and then into tomorrow. But first, our top story tonight is revolving guns and firearms. And in a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court says that Americans have the right to carry firearms in public. The governor reacting to this today, not overly thrilled with this ruling, but the ruling struck down a New York law requiring people to demonstrate a particular need for carrying a gun in order to get a license to carry one in public. The lawsuit was filed in Rensselaer County by the New York State Pistol and Rifle Association. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote the majority opinion in this case, writing that the Constitution protects, quote, an individual's right to carry a handgun for self-defense outside the home. Dan Levy spoke to the president of the association that filed this lawsuit, and you'll hear from them tonight on News Channel 13 live at 11. Secondly, you might remember the story that we told you about a man suspected of stabbing a police officer, and then that ended in an officer-involved shooting. Well, now we know tonight that suspect, is facing charges. 54-year-old Eric Fraser, charged with attempted murder, criminal possession of a weapon, attempted assault, and resisting arrest. This is the story that we've been following closely all week long. Police say Fraser was wanted in an outstanding warrant, and that's when police tried to take him into custody. That's when they say he stabbed an officer in the arm. Fraser was shot in the chest. He is expected to be okay. And finally, before we get into our forecast, the Food and Drug Administration ordered Juul to stop selling e-cigarette products. These are those vape pens that you might have seen people using. And the products in them are in the main e-cigarette and the Juul pods. They're the ones that provide the flavored tobacco. The FDA said the order is in place unless Juul can prove that their products help reduce the harm of smoking for adults without appealing to kids. That's the big concern here. The order does not prevent current Juul owners from owning or using existing Juul products. So those are the biggest stories of the night right now. I do want to bring in meteorologist Reid Kisselback right now. He has a look at our forecast and what we need to know heading into this evening. Hey, Reid.
Hey, Rachel. Well, we've been dealing with some on and off showers for the day today. And as we started to work into the evening time, we kind of saw a second round start to fire up as we head towards the eastern part of our area. So CDPHP first morning came out in Berkshire County, out in Pittsfield, really captures that. We have rain showers still falling in the distance, starting to see some sunshine break through the cloud cover a little bit more, and even some patchy fog in place. Those are the things that we're going to be looking for this evening. I'll show you the first morning live Doppler radar. You can see we are dry for pretty much our whole region, but Berkshire County and southern Bennington County as the last that's clearing on out of the region. So this is coming to an end within the next hour for us here, and then we're going to be drying out. With the clearing out of these showers, you can kind of see the system pushing out still towards New England. It's going to allow the return of a couple things. One, it's going to allow the return of some humidity to the region. So when we say that, we're talking about the dew points, which have been sitting in the 40s and 50s lately. So that's when it's still warm, but you can open up the windows and still not feel that hot and humid. Tomorrow, it's going to start to feel a little bit more sticky and muggy outside as the dew point values climb up to around 60 degrees. Temperature-wise, too, we are going to be closer to where we're supposed to be for this time of year, which is 81 is our average high. You can see first thing in the morning, starting out temperatures in the upper 50s. Some patchy fog possible. Keep that in mind for the morning commute. Otherwise, we will turn mostly sunny by the end of the day. Highs into the low 80s, and again, it'll feel muggy at points. When we combine the humidity with the temperature outside, you get kind of a real field temperature. So we take a look at the heat index, which is what that's called, heading towards the weekend, and you can see it's going to definitely start to feel more summer-like. Highs in the upper 80s on Saturday, Sunday into the low 90s with how it feels outside. So you're going to want to make sure you plan ahead and find a way to stay cool through the course of the weekend. Tonight, 58, mostly cloudy, a few lingering showers right now, but otherwise we're drying out. Tomorrow, we start out morning clouds, then mostly sunny, a warmer day in comparison to recently what we've had, a high of 81. And then if we look at the 7-day planner, like we said, a summer-like feel for the weekend, hot and humid, upper 80s, low 90s. Another round of showers and thunderstorms coming through on Monday will cool us down and put us back towards seasonable for this time of year as we head towards midweek next week, Rachel.
All right. I remember Paul talking about that 91-degree temperature in the 5 o'clock newscast, and I was thankful that it wasn't the extreme heat that other parts of the country are seeing with those triple-digit temperatures.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we have that kind of humidity, and I mean, for here, 90s is a pretty big deal for us usually. So, but when we get the humidity on top of that, it's really bad. So the good news is that's not the case really for us.
Right. So if you want to go hiking this weekend, maybe put that off until Monday or Tuesday. It's going to be a little
If
toasty.
you do it and it's a reasonably short hike, you want to go either early on in the morning, and so you're done as we're starting to warm up, or you want to go later on in the day where it's a little icky to start, but it's not too bad by the time the sun is setting and you're finishing up.
Right. Perfect. Well, 91 degrees is a little bit too hot for me, so I'll be at...
Oh, it's way too hot for me. I'll be in the AC. I'm right there with you.
Perfect. Well, to wrap up, we're going to talk a little bit about a story that we found a little bit interesting. This study talking about how much Americans could save if they walked places instead of drove. And obviously, this is going to vary based on what kind of city you live in and how public transit friendly it is or walkable it is. But on average, Reid, I'm going to have you guess, how much do you think Americans could save per month if they walked instead of drove?
I'd like to say like $300, $400.
That would be high.
High, dang it! I mean, like I'm thinking about how much it costs to fill up my tank of gas now. I'm like, well, once a week, and then no, but that's fair. Okay.
I follow your logic, yes, but the average for the average American across the entire country, right, in a very diverse country, $137 per month could be saved if you walked or used public transit. Now, let's compare that to New York, though. So I'm going to have you guess again. How much do you think New Yorkers could save per month if they walked instead of used public transportation instead of drove?
Well, now I got no sense because I was going for my other guess, but maybe New York is a weirder one when it comes to fuel prices and stuff. So I'd go with like $75.
It was that's what I thought too. It's actually way lower, and I thought it would be more because, well, I thought with the city, you know, they have the subway and all of that.
Yeah.
It was actually, when you rank out of 51, including the District of Columbia, we ranked 50th for the lowest that we would save. I know, and it ended up being $36.08 that we could save per month if we walked instead of drove or used public transportation, which is like wild to me. So again, it was 50th. The only one beneath us was DC, District of Columbia. But if you count our neighbor, Vermont, they ranked third out of the country at $196.83 per month.
That was closer to my guess.
It was closer to your guess. So you weren't totally crazy, just not the right state.
Yeah, I was wrong state, one over. That's fine.
Right. Well, so interesting study. I don't know, maybe this means that there's work to do when it comes to public transit across, which I don't think is a secret. I think everybody could say there's could be.
Yeah, no, I think everybody's in agreement on that part. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you, Reid, for your time. Of course, we are going to be covering additional stories tonight, including the gun ruling from the Supreme Court a little bit later today. We're also following up on the person who was charged after being charged for stabbing a police officer, now facing those charges. It's a story we've been following closely all week long, facing several charges, actually. And then the Food and Drug Administration really cracking down on Juul, those e-cigarettes, those Juul pods, the flavored tobacco, with the real concern of targeting kids and getting kids hooked early while in high school or even younger. So tonight on News Channel 13, live at 9 and 11, you'll also hear from Taniqua Penix on a story that she is following. And you'll hear from the folks that Dan Levy interviewed regarding this gun ruling. In the meantime, have a great night.